What do I think of Askern? When I was young and lived in Askern, it was a good place to be. Everybody seemed to have a job and everybody seemed to know what was what, full of optimism. But I'm afraid since the miners' strike, it seems to have lost its way. There doesn't seem to be anything there. It's sad, really.
Well, it's a bit boring, to be honest.
It's okay. There's much to do, but apart from that, it's okay.
It's alright. It's a bit rough, but it's okay.
There's not really a lot to do. There's not very many jobs, and now that there's all the talk of yet more building work going on, I just don't know where people are going to get an income from, because it's just that bit too far out of Doncaster.
Stop wheeling over there, Emma.
My name's Ros Jones. I'm the Mayor of Doncaster. I was born in Askern, which is a mining village. I was one of 6 children. It was very much a community of its own, very much centred around the pit and the coalite. In all honesty, it was a fantastic childhood. Chapels played a massive part in the area, and people went to a Baptist chapel or a Methodist or the Wesleyan chapel, and we used to have fantastic whip walks, and it was a privilege to hold a banner.
It was a very close community, and that actually spread to the fact that when you actually finished at the pit and you'd been through the baths and you went home and went into the community again, there was a close sort of knit community around you, and that was an experience which I think people only feel that have actually worked in that sort of environment.
If you had a bloke that won't pull his weight and he came into your team, then he didn't come into your team again. It was as easy as that. I mean, we had a guy with wheels in tailgate ripping, I'll not mention his name again, and I was working in Gobside Pack, and he was a 2-man Gobside Pack, and I said, does I want to chuck back to me, Jack, or have I to chuck back to thee? He says, thee chuck back to me. So eventually I had a pile of muck this ain't from to Jack, so I had to go and shift this pile of muck, and Jack was chucking to me, and so it went. And end at shift we just said to him, sorry Jack, but that won't be coming in this rip anymore. They're not a good worker. And his comment were, but I'm good company, aren't I? I mean, you definitely miss the camaraderie that we had in pits. When I went into coal face and there were 20 odd men on coal face with hammer, pick and shovel, your mates either side of you, they were there to help you. They were there if you got a bad stint, they'd help you to fill off, and that kind of camaraderie, well, that has gone. But there were also this thing whereby it extended beyond pit. It were outdoors as well, and it were in social network and the framework that we all lived in.
And at the heart of that, of course, you got to throw in the miners' welfare that provided all the parks and the sports facilities that were there in Askern. If you look at Askern, we had the miners' strike, which was devastating. It actually brought much of a community back together initially, but you also saw the miners' strike, which actually split families and communities also.
It looked as though miners were the baddies. And when in fact they went on strike when the squeeze came on to shut quarries, I can understand miners taking the attitude that they took. They were actually fighting for jobs. You know, when we talked about the number of people that actually worked at Askern Colliery, and right, you know, we're talking 700, you know, to 1,000 men. Adjacent to Askern Colliery was Doncaster Coalite, and Doncaster, because Askern produced not only power station fuel at the right sort of quality, it also produced a coking coal. And Doncaster Coalite actually took 3,000 to 4,000 tonne a week from Askern Colliery, in excess of that sometimes. And obviously when the colliery shut, that outlet for coking coal from a close proximity meant that eventually the coal light shut as well. So it wasn't just a matter of the coal is shutting, it actually shut the coal light down as well.
I went all over England, and to me there's definitely a north-south divide. For example, Kent, which was a big mining area, 3 major collieries, is still, people there are still doing pretty well. A lot of the miners actually got jobs on the Channel Tunnel, using their mining skills on the Channel Tunnel. The further north I went, the more I felt that there was less and less to replace the mining industry, and I was quite surprised at some of the abandoned pit villages I found. People still living there. I think Margaret Thatcher, her main aim when she came into power in 1979 was to destroy the National Union of Mine Workers because they'd become too powerful, and she wanted to therefore close the pits to get rid of the power of the NUM, and she didn't care what else suffered in the process.
Women against coal cuts was there, and they very much rose to the fore when they actually got in all these food parcels to assist families. So that was the community really striving to maintain itself. Askern pit, once it closed, it actually saw a lot of money being spent there initially as people got their redundancy monies. However, once that was the case, there wasn't the training in place really to get people back properly into other jobs. And so we've still got 1 and 2 generations now of workless households. So what we need to do is actually revive not only communities where some of them are not as strong, but also to get people to have pride back in where they live.
This is a challenging scheme. It's obviously a local scheme, a road of about 5 miles long. It's a regeneration scheme. It's going to be essentially the catalyst which provides essential connectivity through infrastructure to create jobs. And I think, as I understand it from the conversations I've had this morning, up to 5,000 jobs can be created just by constructing this road, and it brings about 1.1 million people within true effective connectivity of Doncaster Airport, which is absolutely fantastic. And from a Carillion perspective, to be involved in essential infrastructure like this in the north of England is absolutely fantastic, not just for Carillion but also for the communities in which we serve.
This is the phase 1 of Finningley and Rosington regeneration route. There'll be a phase 2 that'll actually take this route then from Parrott's Corner right up into the airport. This will actually stimulate all around the airport. As you know, we've got an enterprise zone there as well, so that will help that grow. At the side of this we've got something called the iPort, and if you take all the schemes together, what it's bringing in is 1.2 billion investment. So that is great for Doncaster. The north of Doncaster, over time you will see, and we're pushing, the scheme that would be filtering through there would be a link road from the Red House roundabout to the A19, which will actually open that up. There's also the waterfront, which is, as you're coming into Doncaster, that will all be developed. Coupled with DN7, which is Thornway, and Unity there, which again is massive investment to actually bring about investment, real jobs, real growth for Doncaster and Doncaster people. Housing will go there. The person that acquired that land, I think, is Asset Wells. Places like Selby Road School, part of me remembers it with great fondness, as we had some great teachers, and some others were real Trojans, and you don't forget those either. So, but it's part of the makeup of you, and they help shape you into the person that you become. And so fond memories, and still have friendships from those schools.
Oh! I give you our elected Mayor Ross Jones.
I'm delighted to see our markets gaining more and more ground. Different things coming to our town each day. Expansion's great to see. I really do wish you well and every success now and for the future. Great to see. Thank you.
Doncaster came out of a conversation that I had with Warren Draper, who is a typical Doncaster artist. He's got a family of 4 that he supports. He works in retail, but by night he's a writer. He collaborates with well-known national writers, for example, people who write for The Guardian or have worked for the BBC. Yeah, he's based up in Doncaster, working in a full-time job, doing all this amazing work in twilight hours. The title Doncapolitan is obviously ironic because Doncaster isn't a city and it's not seen as being cosmopolitan in any way. It's seen as being a prison for the unemployed because it's surrounded by so many prisons. It's considered being a cultural desert because there isn't an arts infrastructure here. There isn't a big contemporary art gallery, although that is changing and has changed over the last 5 years. So Doncaster is like an independent voice for local arts and culture stories. So we cover everything from its dark coal belly, which we've put in the editorial. So things about the miners' strike, its impact, its what's happening, how people are wanting to rekindle events and galas and banners and stuff like that, as well as contemporary art, music, theatre, political stories. It's allowed me to be an artist being in Doncaster, really.
Fantastic Doncaster Pride, and I'm very proud of this place in which we can meet as well. It makes a real difference to how we feel about our town. So have a great time, everyone. All the best. Cheers.
We shut an industry down that we should have left and continued mining coal for a period of probably another 20-25 years because of the precarious position we are in now, actually, where in actual fact we seem to be buying sort of energy from other countries and not producing enough on our own. We're playing about with wind turbines and solar panels when in actual fact we destroyed an industry that could have supplied this country with fuel and maybe scaled it down in years to come, but used the knowledge and the experience of the mining community that existed at that time to produce the coal that was necessary to fill the gap.
The solar panels, when they came and did a public consultation, people were fully behind, and they're quite shrouded, so they're not an eyesore, people can't see, and I would like to see us as an authority be able to get a solar farm going, because the income at this moment in time would assist the big cuts that's coming our way. I believe in Askern and I believe in Doncaster, the borough.
Yeah, there's a pride in it as well, isn't there?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not an inverse pride at all. Like, it isn't, honestly and truthfully, it's not an inverse pride. It's just this thing that we had this, and the events that took place couldn't destroy it, and it's only time and death that destroy it. Well, it don't destroy it, does it? It just eradicates these memories, because as we get older, we kick bucket, and there's less on us to talk about it, and that's just how it is, isn't it? That's just how it is.